From NBC News, this is Today.
We're back at 8:08 with a tragic story of an accomplished Cornell student who died, his mother says, because of a hazing ritual. Now she's filed a $25 million lawsuit against the fraternity. We'll talk to her exclusively in a moment, but first, NBC's Michelle Franzen has the details on this story. Michelle, good morning to you.
Good morning, Matt. Family and friends say George Desdunes made a big impact in his Brooklyn neighborhood as a member of his church and as a student who earned scholarships. No one expected, though, he would die in a hazing-related incident. George Desdunes, a sophomore at New York's prestigious Cornell University, had a bright future ahead of him, with hopes of becoming a doctor one day. His life, family and friends say, cut short this past February following a drunken hazing ritual at his fraternity.
He just had this way that was so, giving and loving, just very unusual in some ways for a teenage boy.
This week, Desdunes' mother filed a $25 million wrongful death suit against Sigma Alpha Epsilon and the former pledges she says are responsible for her son's death. The suit claims Desdunes, an SAE fraternity member, was involved in a mock kidnapping by pledges during their initiation. The complaint alleges they bound his wrists and ankles with zip ties and duct tape and compelled him to consume alcohol until he lost consciousness. Back at the frat house, Desdunes was dumped on a couch and left to die. An autopsy later showed his blood alcohol was 5 times the legal limit in New York. Cornell University took action and is not named in the lawsuit.
Since George's death, we've quickly acted to remove this fraternity from the campus for a period of not less than 5 years and to re-emphasize the policies that were already in place about hazing and against these high-risk behaviors.
The lawsuit claims the kidnapping was part of a long-standing fraternity ritual authorized and encouraged by SAE. In a statement on its website, Sigma Alpha Epsilon's national headquarters says the fraternity, quote, maintains stringent policies and guidelines for its chapters and reaffirms its zero-tolerance policy for actions that do not comply with our regulations. In May, Sigma Alpha Epsilon settled with a family in a hazing-related death at another university. Desdunes' mother hopes her lawsuit will be the last.
This lawsuit can be a powerful mechanism of communicating to other parents and other students, fraternities and universities that dangerous behavior takes place under the auspices of good, clean fun, and it's not.
3 former fraternity pledges named in the lawsuit also have criminal cases pending in upstate New York. In May, all pleaded not guilty to misdemeanor hazing charges. Matt.
Michelle Franzen. Michelle, thank you very much. George Desdunes' mother, Marie Lord Andre, is with us exclusively along with her attorneys, William Friedlander and Doug Fearberg. Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
Marie, I hate to take you back to February, but I want to know, when you found out the circumstances of your son's death, what was your initial reaction?
I was at work when the police detective in Brooklyn, New York came and told me Cornell had just called them to tell them my son died in his sleep. I couldn't believe it because I spoke to my son the day before. And when I realized they were really telling me the truth, I collapsed. Then they called 911, the ambulance. I ended up being in the emergency room.
He had pledged this fraternity the year before. He was a member of SAE.
Yeah.
Had he ever talked to you? Because all our indications are this is a very well-rounded, grounded young man. Had he ever talked to you about concerns about drinking within that fraternity, about hazing rituals, anything like that?
No. Actually, he told me it was a great opportunity for him to find a job right after college, and it was opening several doors for him.
Gentlemen, to file this lawsuit, you had to go and do some digging. Are you comfortable with the idea that you know everything that went on that night at that fraternity?
Absolutely not. Typically in the lawsuits that we've had against fraternities across the country, there's a code of silence that all of the members abide by immediately after the tragedy. We've spoken to one individual from the fraternity, but when it was clear to him that we were actually seeking substantial information on behalf of the family, he stopped talking.
Sigma Alpha Epsilon, that's the local and national fraternity named in the lawsuit, released a statement, as Michelle mentioned. They said they maintain stringent policies and guidelines as part of its risk management program, and that it actively promotes an anti-hazing program. Based on what you know, do you think the words match the actions in this case?
Well, you know, it's interesting, Matt, because SAE has as their implementation of their active anti-hazing policy, the implementation is by 18 and 19-year-old members. And in order for the policy to be implemented, they rely on the 18 and 19-year-old members. And that's something that we are trying to change with this lawsuit.
We heard from the president of Cornell in that piece. He said that they took immediate action against this fraternity and banned them from campus for a period not less than 5 years. The president of Cornell also told us that prohibition simply doesn't work. Do you think that drinking should be prohibited in these fraternities?
I think it should be banned, drinking and hazing. And the kids who did it, they have to face the consequence what they did, and other parents don't have to go through.
Well, 4 of the young men involved in this death have been charged with misdemeanors, misdemeanor counts of hazing. Do you think those penalties are severe enough?
No, it's not severe enough.
And it's true that it is not true that what Cornell says about a ban on alcohol would be ineffective. In fact, the fraternity's own research indicates that over a 10-year period for fraternities that have gone dry, the risk of injury and death is reduced by 98%.
This is a $25 million lawsuit, Maria, and you more than anyone know that money will not bring George back. So what do you want the outcome of the lawsuit to be?
I want hazing and alcohol to stop, and I want those kids to face to take responsibility of their action, because I don't want other parents to go through what I'm going through right now. George was a good kid. It was a great son, and I don't want anyone to go through that. And if they don't stop hazing and alcohol, another parent will go through that.
Marie, thank you for being here. We appreciate it. Our condolences, and thanks for sharing your story. Doug and William, thank you very much as well.
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you very much.
And we're going to be right back after this.